So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, particularly good evening, I think, to Ronald, who's joining us very late in the day from New York, I think, isn't it? So I'm Rachel Bevan, Director of Statistics Division here at UN Economic and Social Commission for Asia and Pacific, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to today's Asia-Pacific Stats Café. What we're going to be doing today at the Stats Café is sharing some takeaways from the 7th International Conference on Big Data and Data Science for Official Statistics, which took place just a few weeks ago in Indonesia. And unusually, it was the first of one of a lot of kind of in-person events, but it also meant it was a really great opportunity to see people. And we wanted to take some time today to feed back to others also about that conference and to talk about the way forward and to hear from a few more people as well about how you think the event went. So I want to say as well at the start, a huge thanks to BPS Indonesia and of course to UNSD for organising the event and for making it's such a success. Also, I want to say a huge thanks to BPS Indonesia and the staff for not just working on the formal sessions, which I think were extremely well organised, and we covered a lot of different issues, but they also put together a great social programme, which really helped, I think, as well, in terms of helping us all to build on existing relationships, but also to be able to build new relationships. And that is also a really important part of these events, so that we can continue to build on our knowledge, but also so we can really kind of learn from each other. So I wanted to start as well at the beginning of this event by just doing a quick question to the audience. So hopefully Guy or Goy or someone's going to put up a poll question. And I just wanted you to indicate actually by answering the poll whether or not you actually attended the Big Data and Data Science event in person, or if you actually watched any of the sessions online, or if you did not attend. So hopefully you can all see the poll in front of you now. I'm just going to click it as I speak to make sure my vote's been recorded, so you can see that I attended in person. And hopefully we've got our speakers who also, I know, attended in person. We've got some people saying they didn't attend and some people, at least one, who attended virtually. So I think that would just give us a bit of an idea to kind of see what the background is and to see, to understand a little bit more from the audience of where you're coming from. And in terms of the whole point of the conference, this is really about sharing what's going on big data. But we do know, we've seen the impact of big data on our own lives, and we've seen how much of an effect it has in terms of even very simple tasks like using smartphones to plot the fastest route to our destination. And we've seen how big data has really impacted on, every aspect probably of our own lives. But we haven't necessarily seen that impact of big data on the impact on national statistics offices. We've seen a lot of piloting, a lot of experimental work, but we haven't seen so much of that actually bedding it into national statistical offices' processes. But I think that's where the International Conference on Big Data and Data Science provides that really amazing opportunity to actually share together, to actually bring together countries from across the whole world to really look at what is being done and to learn from each other. And also, this is one area where we really can learn from each other, because there is definitely no national statistics office in the whole world that has actually fully integrated big data or data science into all of their work. And it's an area that everybody's working on. So no matter their kind of stage of development, it's an area where actually NSOs are really doing a lot of experimental work, and that provides that amazing opportunity to learn from each other. So today we've got a great lineup of speakers. That's why I'm not going to say very much. And I'm going to pass you over to my colleague Tanya Sejerson, who's a statistician here at ESCAP, and she's going to be moderating a session today, and she'll be introducing our great lineup of speakers. So over to you, Tanya. Thanks very much. And just to say, it's great that you can attend. Please do answer the poll. Also, please put any questions or any comments in the chat bar as we go on as well, so we can answer those if we get to them. But over to you, Tanya. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Rachel, and thank you also for giving us a little bit of the excitement that actually happened at the the conference in Yogyakarta. And we really wanted to organize this Stats Cafe to give people who weren't able to attend a bit of insights into what happened, and also hear what some of the people who joined from our region really took away from that conference. So I'm super happy to see a very, very impressive lineup of speakers that we have here. But before we go to the various participants from different countries, I would like to give over the floor to Ronald Jansen. And Ronald is the Assistant Director in Statistics Division at DESA, UNSD, Statistics Division. And Ronald has really been leading a lot of work on big data globally, and is involved everywhere, it seems. And also had a very busy week in Yogyakarta. So I'm very happy to give the floor to Ronald. Thank you, Ronald.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Tanya, and good evening from my side. Yeah, it is midnight here in New York, and a happy day for you on a Monday. I would like to. First of all, I think Rachel gave a good introduction, and one thing I wanted to just say upfront is that we had really tremendous support from BPS Indonesia in organizing the event, and they did a great job. So let me start with that. The UN Statistics Division, so my office has been supporting this work on big data and data science since basically 2014, when we had our first international conference on big data for official statistics at that time in Beijing, in China. We have with this what gradually became the UN Committee of Experts on Big Data and Data Science for Official Statistics. We've been working on various topics. We've been working on how to use satellite data for agriculture statistics or environment statistics, use of mobile phone data, scanner data, the AIS visual tracking data more recently, and some other topics, which all have the intention of helping statistical officers use new kinds of data sources, new technologies. Also start using data science for their official statistics, and sometimes also for some emerging issues where the statistical office is called in to help out, like with the outbreak of COVID in the early 2000s, when quite a few statistical officers were called upon to help out, see how the virus spread and how certain measures of government might have an effect on reducing mobility of the population, for which they could use, like, for instance, mobile phone data in some countries. Now, coming to the International Conference on Big Data and Data Science in Indonesia, in Yogyakarta, where we were, the conference was spread over 5 days. And I will give you some of the takeaways from this. First of all, I will also invite you to go and have a look at the website when you can. Most of the recordings are there. There is like a 3-minute overview recording on the front page, which gives you the impression about how well organized the event was. The theme of the event was global challenges and the importance of relevant and timely data. What we want to do with this kind of somewhat larger event that we are organizing is to first connect with policymakers. So from our community of statisticians, and now also community of statisticians and data scientists, to connect with those who are using the data, and ultimately a lot of that is for policy purposes. And so we want to see if we can connect at these kinds of events also with the policymakers. So day one is really trying to do this outreach, to have that dialogue. We had if you would look at the recordings, you will see that we had statements from the Deputy Secretary General, Amina Mohamed. We had a statement of the Under-Secretary General and Executive Secretary of ESCAP, Armida Alishabana, who made a statement. She's the highest UN representative in the Asia and Pacific region. And then from the side of Indonesia, we had two ministers making statements. The Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy and the coordinating Minister of Economic Affairs. That only to say that we wanted to attract the attention of the higher levels in the political agendas. In the panels that we did on the first day, we looked at economic recovery, at food security, meaning those kind of topics which are really front and center of what governments currently are concerned about. And then we want to see how our community can try to make data available that are timely, that are relevant. And so we want to make this connection to big data and data science the topic that we are working on. So this is the first day. I think the panels were good quality, very good quality that we had. On the second day, we were more starting to work towards the conversations within the community of official statistics. We had a plenary meeting of our committee where we not only review our work, we also wanted to set up some new initiatives. We have a data science leaders network. So data science it's more on the agenda of the work that we are doing. We would like to collaborate closer with the geospatial community, and we would also like to use more privacy enhancing technologies for access to data. Really important for our work, of course, in this area, in this space of innovation is how we can develop capacity in statistical offices of the regions. I mean, we were in the Asian Pacific region, but we're represented with our committee across the world. For that, we like to see that the regional hubs for big data and data science that we have will have that function of helping out with projects and training and bringing this kind of innovation of big data and data science closer to your offices, to the statistical offices of your countries. On day two, we also had some discussions on one of the topics which is important for Indonesia, but which is the topic of use of mobile phone data for official statistics. BPS Indonesia has been a front runner in that topic. They have good connections with the telecom operator in Indonesia, and they are a kind of a model for other countries in how you could use mobile phone data for official statistics. So we had that kind of presentation also. We did a number of workshops on the latter part of the week. We had workshops on the use of mobile phone data for official statistics, but also the use of Earth observation data, mostly for agriculture statistics. The use of the automated identification system, which is the AIS data for tracking of ships. So this is mostly used for maritime transport statistics. We did a workshop sessions on that. A workshop session also on the use of privacy enhancing technologies, and some sessions on the use of machine learning and data science. So all of these kinds of new topics, we are working on that, and we're trying to see how statistical offices around the world can be part of this. One thing I also want to mention is that we had a fairly large hackathon. So we had a big data hackathon which started on Tuesday, the 8th of November, and lasted for 3 days. many teams around the world participated in that. So they were given access to various data sets and given the task to come up with some innovative data solutions around the topic of climate action, climate change, and how they those teams saw some solutions that could be useful in addressing those kind of topics. We're still working for this big data hackathon. We're still working to see which team actually won. There are many teams that submitted, so we have a jury that's looking into it now. At the same time, we also had a hackathon on the UN Pet Lab. So this is these privacy enhancing technologies. So those were about 50 teams that participated, and we immediately got a ranking of that hackathon, where there was an all student teams of Oxford in the UK that won first prize. So all of these things are in the space of innovation. If I give my and I will conclude with that, my few takeaways of the overall conference, aside from the fact that I thought it was extremely well organized, it was very visible. I think it gave a good impression of what our community is doing. But the few takeaways that I wanted to mention is, one is that partnerships are very important for our community. So our statistical community needs to work with private sector, academia, and other groups to be able to actually use new data sources and data science. It also shows that data science is an important discipline that we as a community of official statistics have to embrace and work with. And finally, specifically needed is training, and within this context of training and capacity development, I think these regional hubs that we have created in Brazil, in China, in Rwanda, and UAE are very important to bring this innovation and training and innovation closer to our countries. So with that, Tanya, I'll give back to you.
Thank you so much, Ronald, and thank you for that great overview of the week. And I very much agree with your key takeaways. To give you a little bit more an idea of what happened, and also of some of the great organization that happened from a BPS side, we have a little video that BPS has created that just shows some of the highlights. So I'll ask my colleague to share the video. Thank you so much. And I think you got a bit of a sense of the very impressive setup that BPS had organized for everyone, both from a substantial point of view, but also very much seeing a little bit of the beautiful culture and history of Indonesia, which was very, very appreciated by everyone, I'm sure. So I'm extremely proud and very, very happy to give over the floor to Setya Pramana. And Setya is from BPS Indonesia. He's also a professor at the Polytechnic Statistica, which is the university there. He is currently appointed as the BPS Statistics Indonesia Big Data Team Lead. And previously, he was appointed as one of the UN Global Working Group on Big Data for Official Statistics. And we've had the pleasure of working very closely with Setya, and we're very happy that he's joining us today to give us some of his takeaways. Over to you, Setya.
Okay, thank you very much, Tanya. Can you hear me? Just to check. Okay, thank you. Good afternoon here in Indonesia, and also good afternoon for all of you, Mr. Roy, Mr. Dan Dim, and Mr. Hunyan, Rachel, actually, and also Tanya, and also Ronald. All the panelists, it's a pleasure to meet you again, and then it was a pleasure also to meet all of you in person, finally, after we met several times, usually online. But as actually, on behalf of Pak Imam, actually Pak Imam could not join this meeting because of other important meetings. We are on BPS. We are very thank you for all your attendance, to all the participants, and also the collaboration for preparations for the conference, so the conference can work as we expect. So let me just share the screen about what the takeaways that we have. Share the screen here. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, let me just open it. Okay.
Perfect.
Yes. So as mentioned by Ronald, that actually the conference has been almost a year for preparations, and then it's in the middle of Java in Yogyakarta. And also hackathons and also workshops of big data and also data science has been held very successfully. The participants come from 45 different countries, including also Indonesia. And so for around 400 participants from different backgrounds, from academia, government, NSO, NGOs, also private sectors. This shows how big data should be done, because it's not only for official statistics office, but also for it should be a different stakeholder from academia, private sector as well. So we have several keynote speakers. Actually, Ronald already mentioned before, around 29 speakers, also 8 moderators. So we have a hackathon from 8 to 11 November. In 2020, there are 20 teams on sites, and there are several teams actually they have on satellite or online teams. And on site we have 38 participants, and there are 6 mentors, international mentors, also international, and also Indonesian mentors as well for this. This is a very huge hackathons. And we have workshops from 9 to 11 November. There are 27 speakers from different subjects. Mentioned also by Ronald. We have PT Lab, AIS data, mobile person data, and also machine learning workshops. These workshops are followed by 207 participants from 43 countries, also from different background, academics, academia, ministries in Indonesia, also NSO from international, as Indonesia, also private sectors. This actually, I heard that this is the first time that workshops, conference, and also hackathon is combined into one place. So I hope that people who came to Yogyakarta have enjoyed Yogyakarta with the conference, also with the culture itself. Also, people who join through online, could be from YouTube and also streaming platform, can join, enjoy the workshop, the conference, also the hackathon as well. So for takes away that the key takeaway that we learn actually from the conference, the hackathon and workshops, that to implement big data for official statistics, we need to strengthen these topics. Right? First is the regulations, including big data access, also partnerships, also legal and privacy, and also the organizations. Because without these regulations, we cannot do all the data access, because data now, big data is especially owned by not only by the government, but also from the private sectors. So this also including how to get the access of data, and also to keep the legal also privacy, and also to provide, maybe strengthening the organization. There should be one or two, one like a directorate or organizations that focus on big data implementation. And also the second need to be strengthened is the data governance. So this including big data ecosystem of different line ministries, because big data is not only from National Statistic Office, but also from line ministries, government agencies, private sectors, and also this governance as including how to cooperate these big data developments and data access, including the infrastructure who prepare or who will provide the infrastructure, the system, and also will in charge in this data security, and who will be in the research, and also who will be in the development stage. So this big data governance in the national level also need to be strengthened, but that also including the regulations. The third one is the human resources. I think Ronald also mentioned that in the opening remarks, that capacity building on data science is one of the most important right now. In Indonesia right now, we have already several capacity building on the data science through STIS, the university inside BPS, but also with the National Training Office, also with collaboration with universities, collaboration with association, etc. Human resources, not only the capacity on the data science, but also the big data technologies, and also the methodologies like machine learning, also methodologies of statistic or data science using big data. Also, we need to have a capacity building from stakeholder, from business, usually for best practice when they deal with big data. So from the workshop, from the conference, we already mentioned by several workshops also that these are a big data initiative in BPS right now. First one, we have included mobile posting data as official statistics for tourism statistics, right? So official statistics, we have right now ongoing studies for implementing big data to be official statistic from at least two data sources: satellite imagery, also marketplace data. Satellite imagery, we can get the data. We have government satellite images. Also marketplace data, we have a regulation that BPS can access marketplace data. But this also need to still ongoing studies for make sure all these data can be utilized for official statistics, and so by make sure they can fulfill all the official statistic requirements. And the third initiative, big data, is to be a complementary statistic. This big data is used to indicate the information about current issues, especially issues that are viral. You know, big data is not only value or velocity, but also virality. So this also need to capture the information of maybe only several period that capturing by social media, online media, or other type of data sources to complement the data statistics. And then from Big Data Conference, Indonesia, BP Statistics Indonesia will strengthen the statistic law regulation. We are actually now ongoing on that, and then become the priority of legislation in our parliament. And also capacity building staff, not only in the understanding but data science, but also advanced technologies. And now utilizing other big data sources, as I mentioned, satellite imagery, AIs, and then also marketplace data for official statistics. And currently we are working on national BPS big data governance, which can be as a pilot of a national big data governance in Indonesia. And we plan to expand the utilization of mobile positioning data, not only for tourism statistics, but also for other official statistics, such as mobility statistics, transportation, poverty, economic situation, etc.
Thank you.
I think that's all from my side. So
thank you so much. That's a
you.
Wonderful overview. Wonderful overview, and thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. We are running a bit behind schedule, so we're going to run quickly to our next speaker, who is from Bangladesh. It's Mr. Chandra Shekhar Roy, who is a senior maintenance engineer of IT in Bangladesh Bureau of Statistics, where he's been working since 1998. And now he's working as a data curator. He's working on maintenance of official statistical data, development of shared use system, and research and development of online data analysis systems. And he's really contributing significantly in the areas of big data and metadata and data sharing and open data management. So we're very proud to have you here, and we look forward to hearing your big takeaways from the conference. Over to you. You will have to unmute yourself. Mr. Chandra, you have to unmute yourself.
Thanks,
Excellent.
Tanya,
Thank you.
for an excellent clarification. Is it okay now? Okay, respected audience and honorable directors, Mr. Ronald and Mrs. Russell, I am delighted to be here to say something about our successful 7th Big Data Conference in Jakarta. And I like to share some of my observations and lesson learned throughout the workshop and conference event. First of all, like mobile phone data. The Oman shows an excellent experience in utilizing MPD for official statistics. That's fine. Country experience in Indonesia is truly appreciable and copyable. I should say copyable means it's copyable to other NSO. They covered many areas of indicators to produce official statistics. A special thanks to PBS for an excellent presentation over there. Already, Mr. Ronald mentioned that could be a model we can adopt it. Okay, the privacy enhancing technology. Initially, actually, I was thinking it would be techniques for protecting data privacy. But now it's going to be transformed to technology, that is PET. That's good. I was fascinated by it, and I spent a lot of time on this session just because it's a gray area of obstacle to produce official statistics. Is there anything wrong?
Someone is unmuted. We'll mute them.
Okay. So regarding AIS data, this session was quite new for me, and I was very much curious about AIS data generation. I do appreciate the initiative of 3 more e-learning courses and upcoming workshop, like using UN Global Platform AIS, calculating economic fast-star indicators, and maritime emission using AIS. And then Earth observation data. In this session, I was happy to come across the idea of developing training tools using free and open source data. This session, I was interested about Earth observation-based tools to improve survey design and the survey design through geo-enabled stratification and probabilistics sampling. Also, Earth observation applications for crop area mapping and crop yield estimation. And then data access is a valid topic right now. Throughout the presentation, the 4 pillars concept is really good. I mean, targeting global value chains, that is data access principles like coordinations, conditions of data access, transparency of data source, and methods, capacity development, as well as user needs. These basic 4 pillars is good concept. And come to the machine learning. I'm very much interested about that. The contribution of the dataprovider.com is very much time-based, I should say. They provided a task-oriented examples to use modern AI and machine learning methods in the field of data science to generate official statistics. And it proves that website can be an alternative source of NSO data. So I know hear about that because some of the country already been very much used to about that one. Regarding the capacity building of NSOs, CIAP is playing a good role in developing in-house machine learning capacity. And then regarding lesson learned issue, I can share something like in our IT generation had the data revolution called like analog to digital, paper to electronic, manual to automation. Now the use of technology has diversified. NSOs should follow the world best practice and international standards. I like to focus on international standards exclusively for the official statistics. Uses multiple securities ICT technology called data is available but invisible. Fine. It's a very interesting and useful innovation for the data processing, which improve the level of data sharing as well as collaborations. And then say in our BBS, what can we do? Say way forward things like MPD data as international best practice. Already Eurostat did it, already recognized and approved. So there is no need to reinvent wheel again. So I would request ESCAP just set up a standard, set up a protocol, set up a related some apps so that the NSO, we the NSO can adopt or implement this technology safely. Just is one of my request. BBS has conducted 3 telephonic opinion surveys by using MPD. Big data has been used for sampling and tabulation purposes. Mostly, big data used for qualitative analysis. Now, the BBS using thick data from UN Pulse Lab concept for qualitative information. Our country, the health ministry uses MPD data during the COVID-19 situation for zoning where the geolocation was the main indicators. Moreover, MPD was used for movement tracking and poverty estimation. And the future plan, like our tourism sector did a piloting to use MPD data for tourism statistics. So, and then next to the Earth observation data. Regarding the crop area, fruits and crop yield estimation, BBS is planning to introduce drone and image processing technology with the help of World Bank. And as we have recently procured entire country image file as well as shape file from 4 satellites. So we have to borrow some advanced technique from UNSD to implement all our concept and regarding the Earth observation issue. Now the PET technology. So BBS is looking forward to participating in the upcoming 4th training course organized by PET Lab. UNPET Lab, we call it UNPET Lab, fine. And then I come to the machine learning and AI. BBS is going to establish a statistical data warehouse and big data platform. That will be, we are thinking it will be financed by the Korean government. But the ML machine learning will be the key tools to producing official statistics. We have historical reusable data set along with metadata since 1974. This big data can be used for time series analysis. In Bangladesh, like primary education sector.
I'll have to ask you to wrap up soon, sorry.
Dropout calculation and agriculture sector like crop statistics, we can use machine learning handling multiple big data sets. So thank you for listening me and give me the time and opportunity to say something in this very fruitful conference. Thank you, Tania.
Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing all the exciting work that's ongoing in Bangladesh. We look forward to learning more, and I appreciate your shout out to our colleagues in CEAP and also the really importance of sharing the immense amount of knowledge that already exists out there. So our next presenter is Mr. Laksaran Damdinsuran, who is the Vice Chairman of the National Statistics Office of Mongolia. He holds a PhD in computer science from Hokkaido University in Japan, as well as 2 master's degrees, and he was able to help us with some IT issues earlier, so thank you so much for that. He really has many years of experience working for both government and universities in both Mongolia and Japan, and I really look forward to hearing your insights from the conference. Over to you.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank all the people who successfully organized the 7th International Conference on Big Data and Big Data Science for Official Statistics. During the conference, many interesting presentations and discussions were held on the issues and challenges facing National Statistics Office. I also would like to thank the organizers for directly providing necessary materials which are presented during the conference. I think those materials will be very useful for our future work. I'm also very happy that I had the opportunity to present our experience in use of big data, including non-traditional data for producing statistical production and SDG. I also had a good opportunity to have friendly discussion and exchange ideas with participants from other countries at the conference. According to the internal regulation of our organization, a person who has participated in an international conference must provide information related to the conference to all employees. So I briefly introduced a summary of the presentations which are discussed at 7th Big Data Conference to all 320 employees of the National Statistics Office by online using the Microsoft Teams in last week. Our employees were very interested in the information and expressed their desire to receive more detailed information. As I introduced in Yogyakarta, the National Statistics Office of Mongolia is considering to use satellite-based Earth observation data for agriculture statistics and mobile phone data for internal migration and mobility. Therefore, we are currently starting and working on a pilot project which is using mobile phone data to measure the internal migration and mobility with the support from International Organization for Migration and University of Oxford. So today I would like to focus on the use of mobile phone data for official statistics. Indonesian experience of using mobile phone data for tourism statistics has been really good experience. Congratulations, BPS of Indonesia. First, we learned from their experience to conduct with the mobile network operators two legal documents such as Memorandum of Understanding and Non-Disclosure Agreement to access their phone data. Second, for in-depth research purpose, it is possible to access raw data with MS, ISDN, and geolocation without masking them using the approval from the subscriber. Third, that was very interesting to combine mobile phone data with digital surveys to produce tourism statistics of the same quality as conventional tourism statistics. Miss Speranza, who is senior statistician at the International Telecommunication Union, introduced at the conference the result of their pilot study on and handbook on the use of mobile phone data for official statistics. And she said that telecommunication regulatory body and the Ministry of Information Communications Technology should be involved in mobile phone data access and ensure an unified coordination of key stakeholders. Also, there should be prepared all administrative and legal procedures to access the data before the project starts. I discussed with her in Yogyakarta about using the mobile phone data used in their pilot study to test the quality assurance and assurance of our methodology and home detection algorithm. As we haven't yet processed mobile phone data from the national mobile network operator, as a result, International Telecommunication Union will provide us possible source of sample data of MPD next year. After the 7th Big Data Conference, we have had several meetings with one of the national mobile network operator named G-Mobile, and we are together now preparing to conduct Memorandum of Understanding and Non-Disclosure Agreement for accessing mobile phone data. We also have planned to hold a joint meeting with the Communication Regulatory Commission, the Ministry of Digital Development and Communications, and mobile phone operators on the use of mobile phone data. Also, we are working with University of Oxford to build capacity for analyzing mobile phone data. Additionally, appropriate responsible unit is crucial factor for preparing the big data environment. So we revised our organizational structure in last year and established the data analysis department. Finally, I would like to say that there should be the resources such as data, human, IT, and collaboration for handling the mobile phone data. That's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. And it was really great to hear also that you shared with all the employees of the NSO all your takeaways. So that's really nice to know as well. And our final speaker today is going to talk about the hackathon. And our colleagues from BPS mentioned the teams that were based in Yogyakarta, but I think there were something like 2,000 participants globally, so it was quite a large event. Int'l, or Quinn, as we know her in our division, is an associate program officer at the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in Bonn. And she works on matters relating to greenhouse gas data. But she also has experience with many international organizations, including being with the GIS team at UNOICT, UNDSS, as well as a data analyst at UNOPS and IFC World Bank Group. And most importantly, of course, she used to work with us at ESCAP, and we miss her dearly. So I'm really pleased to hear from you more what happened about the hackathon that I unfortunately couldn't join myself. So over to you, Quinn.
Thank you very much, Tania. It's my pleasure to come back to ESCAP now and share about my experience about the hackathon. So yeah, it's actually a global event. We were told that the 2022 UN Big Data Hackathon was an increase in scale compared to the 2021. There were more than 1,000 participants forming 450 teams from 60 countries, working non-stop for 72 hours to develop solutions for a global challenge set by the organizer and to help achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. I had registered individually, and then I got assigned to the team frame with 2 other statisticians from BBS Indonesia, so I could work on site in Jakarta with them. Before the hackathon officially happened, there were webinars and workshops organized. The winning projects from the previous hackathons were also introduced, so we could have an idea of the outputs expected. There were also experts from various organizations working us through different data sources and APIs, and we were provided with an account from Amazon Web Services to assist with our analysis. Esri also provided us with voucher code to access service credits on their popular ArcGIS platform in case any of the teams would like to explore geospatial data analysis. But more importantly, for those of us who were on the expert track, we also gained access to the UN Global Platform, where we could query the IIS data, which, as explained before by the previous speaker, is the global shipping locations. We can also conduct analysis on the platform and also download the results. So the solution our team wanted to develop was a machine learning model to predict the level of food insecurity in Southeast Asian countries using IIS data and other data sources from public services. The idea was that food security depends largely on the food produced inside one country, food traded in and out of the country, and other external factors such as the natural disasters and the pandemic. Initially, we wanted to predict at a global scale, but the mentors advised us that it might be too ambitious given the limited time that we had. So, and actually the querying and pre-processing of IIS data actually took a significant portion of our time. And in the end, we had to be a bit creative and use the pre-processed IIS data from UN Comtrade to predict for the amount of IIS data that we could not completely obtain from the UN Global Platform. But it's worth mentioning here, though, that one of the nice features of the hackathon was the availability of the mentors who are experts from statistics offices and also from ATB, and they have had extensive experiences working with big data. So our discussion with them helps steer us in a more efficient direction and also clear many of our questions regarding the pre-processing of the big data. So our final product was a model using the random forest algorithm to predict the level of food insecurity in Southeast Asian countries. The significance level of most of the indicators that we have selected were high, which led us to believe the model was a good fit. Unfortunately, due to time constraints, we were not able to visualize the results, but our teammate at BBS did manage a visually appealing presentation to showcase our process and prediction. So we're hoping that at least we win the presentation prize. There was several prizes for all of the teams participating there. So overall, the hackathon was an excellent learning opportunity. My way of learning new data types and data science methodologies has always been finding a project and working through it. And through our project, we have had the opportunity to learn about IIS data and how to conduct analysis with them using the UN Global Platform. And in particular, we have learned to define the polygon as the port location, calculate ship route in and out of the polygon, and query the features and attributes required for our analysis. I have also learned a lot from my teammate in terms of statistical methodologies and modeling, and we managed to deliver the results within the set timeline. Although the model was not perfect, we do know the direction to improve and what can be done next. And the process can be adapted for other issues that we may encounter in our works, in our future work as well. So that's my experience with the hackathon. Very positive, and also it was a lot of fun. And I'm happy to respond to the question if there are any to the chat or in the Q&A section. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Quinn. And I think your presentation very much highlighted the breadth of the event. You know, there was really a lot of different activities happening and a lot of excellent insights and experiences gained from everyone. We we've heard from a number of speakers today, and everyone has had so much to share, so we're running a little bit behind schedule. We were supposed to have quite a bit of time for Q&A, but I have noticed that there hasn't been any questions posted in the chat box. So I think we might have to not do the Q&A, but if anyone has any specific questions to the presenters that they would like to get answered, please feel free to put it in the chat box or send us an email at ESCAP, and we'll make sure that you will you'll receive response to your questions. And I do apologize that we've run out of time, but I do think we've had some really interesting sharing from all of our speakers. So thank you so much for that. Just before we finish up, I want to, I guess, semi-officially launch the Using Big Data for Official Statistics, Key Considerations when Using Mobile Phone Data, which is a new set of guidelines that we have produced at ESCAP. It's been a while in the making because we have had several expert group meetings and also had consultation with a number of people, including the community of practice of data integration, as well as many individuals to provide inputs on these guidelines. We are seeing these guidelines as a initial version, and we are planning to improve it over time when we get additional feedback. So we hope it will be useful for you as it is, but if you have some comments or questions to it, we would very much appreciate hearing back from you. And as we've heard a lot about today, a big part of what is happening in this field now is about knowledge sharing, and this is also where we at ESCAP over the last few years has been giving the vast majority of our attention, but we will be moving further into trying to support countries in the future, and therefore we would very much welcome feedback, of course, as always, but in particular in this area on what would be useful for NSOs in particular for us to support this work going forward. We're very happy to work so closely with Ronald's team at UNSD, as well as a lot of other partners. And I do think that Ronald's point about partnerships is very, very important. We really need to work together in order to move this super exciting and innovative area of work forward. So with that, I can see that we have the link to the guide I just mentioned in the chat box, and I'll just give the floor back to Rachel to close up. Over to you, Rachel.
Thank you so much, and thank you to all the speakers. A huge thank you, especially to Ronald, for doing this so late, or it's even early in the morning now. But we really appreciate that, and great to hear all the different insights. And I think just one kind of key thing that really comes across is that I know that we don't have as much resources as we would like to support this, but actually there is a lot out there. And we could see, you know, even from the hackathon, actually there's a lot of people out there that really want to help and want to support this work. So I think this is a question of, you know, if we all work together on this, we can really learn a lot, and we can kind of learn from what everyone else is doing, and you're not on your own, and we're also there to help. So please do get in touch. Thank you so much to everyone, and have a great rest of the day, or even tomorrow. So thanks everyone.